Am I saying that right? Lady Cup? I don't know. Danielle. Yay. Jennifer Andrews is one of my top fans. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, and Sean is on. One of my other large fans. he's right there. Okay.
Still waiting for it to load on my end.
Oh, is it not loading? People say hi. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Barbara. And Allison is here. So I have pajama pants on, you guys. No shame. Can you see the stripiness? It's Friday. I showered. You're welcome. This isn't smell-o-vision or anything, obviously, but you're welcome nonetheless. 'Cause otherwise, I don't know about anybody else with kind of like curly-ish hair. If I don't shower or at least wash my hair or get it wet, it like looks like ridiculous. Is it still loading for you? Are you good? Okay. It's finally Friday. I know people are singing the song. Ooh, happy birthday, Scottish Mendes. Looks like happy birthday. And hey, everybody, Elise and Amberly, Julia, Laura, Bernie Pot Pie. I love the names. Sasha, Lauren, and Libby. Oh, Libby's here again. A lot of you, I recognize your names. Thank you so much for being on. I hope your guys' week went well. Mine has been actually kind of stressful, I'm not gonna lie. So I let myself sleep in a little bit this morning just because there's a lot going on. And I could tell you why. It's just a bunch of little things, truthfully, but it adds up to me being like, oh, I need more sleep. So I gave myself a break and I don't feel bad about it at all. Okay, let's see. Oh, Lady Cup been waiting all week. What is your name, Lady Cup, on Twitter? I'd have to look. If you keep your avatars the same, I can usually recognize it, or if the name's the same. But a lot of people use different names, and then then it's hard for me to track you. There's a couple people that are on my Patreon account that have different names on the website and different names on Twitter, and then but their avatar is the same, so I'll know it's them. Hi, Pantalina. Hi, April and Hope and Tiffany and Jane. Oh yeah, I try to do a YouNow every week. Last week, I don't think I did. If I remember correctly, it's because I had a bunch of different videos coming out and things I was doing. I just didn't have time, but I always like to, and I think it's a good way to finish off our week. But I don't know if anybody wants me to do them on like different days. I can do Tuesdays or Wednesdays maybe. Those are days where my time's a little more flexible. But I always think Fridays are kind of nice. Everybody likes the live streams. Yay, good. And so, and my birthday, yeah, Miss Sassy Pants, I am. I'm not doing anything big. Some years I feel like having a party. I'm like, I want to do things. I want to go out. And this year I'm like, I want to eat good food and relax. Maybe I'm getting old. Don't tell anybody. But I think it's just me wanting to take a break because there's a lot of cool things going on behind the scenes. And it's not like, I have these big, surprise projects, but like the book I'm still working on. And that takes a lot of work, surprisingly. And I think we may be expanding into more areas of mental health so that it's not only an eating disorder book. We have like different chapters on different topics so we can cover a lot more. And that's what I've been expanding on this week. But I'll keep you posted on that. And if I need more stories, I do still have that email book@katimorton.com email set up for that. And I'll let you know about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Just a lot of collaborations. I've been filming a lot. I filmed with Dr. Lindsay Doe. Sexplanations is her channel. She's amazing. I know a lot of you watch her as well. And so she came in town because she lives in Montana. She came in town. I filmed with her. I filmed with L.O. Steph. I've been filming with a lot of different people. And so that's just been keeping me very, very busy. But let's get into your questions. We're about right on time now. It's almost exactly 2. So hopefully everybody is able to be on here. Oh, somebody asked, oh my God, it's Kira Songs, says, how many years of training is it to become a therapist? It kind of depends on where you want me to start, because a lot of it, I start undergrad, so I do 4 years of undergrad, and you can major in psychology, sociology. There are a lot of different majors that they'll allow, but you want to find out before you do it, because when you apply to grad school, they only accept certain majors. And then you go into grad school, and I only did 2 years. You can do 4 if you want to be called doctor, if you want to get your PhD. I stopped at my master's. I didn't continue on for the last 2 years because, frankly, not having my PhD doesn't limit me with what I can do, and it doesn't really make me make more money, and I don't really care to be called doctor. So I'm not a doctor, if any of you thought I was. I just have my master's. And then after completing my 2 years of master's, I had to accumulate 3,000 hours and then take my licensing exam, which in toto, if I think of undergrad to grad to licensing exam, I got licensed, what was it, you guys, 2 years ago? And so, yeah, it'll be 2 years Yeah, almost exactly 2 years. And that process, I started that process in like 2002 is when I started undergrad. So that gives you an idea. Quite a few years, but stick with it. If you want to do it, you can do it. Okay. How do I report somebody?
I know that person's spamming and I'm trying to block them. That's why.
I'm going to block. I just did that. Boom. Sorry, if you see someone that's like just hassling, just being a dick or an ass in the comments, just fucking block them. Those people drive me crazy. Okay, let's get into the real questions and the real people who want to be here and not the jerks and trolls. Okay. Allison or Allie is asking, how do you let a toxic family member go in your mind? They are the only person I have left and everyone else has passed away. So, do you mean, and let me know, Allie, you can let in the comments again, do you mean like they're the only person in your family that you actually have left and so it's really hard to kind of cut them off or let them go because they're that toxic? That's what I'm assuming you mean. And so if that's the case, in all honesty, the thing that's been helpful for a lot of my clients, okay, yes, okay, cool. Oh, hey, Jennifer, thanks for tipping me. Yay, she's my #1 fan. Ooh, I got so excited, I rammed my chair into my desk. Pardonnez-moi while I get situated. Okay, so,
back just a little bit.
oh,
Your head is clicking.
no, Sean is fixing my view. Okay, so for Allie's question, good? Okay.
Yeah.
The truth of it is that we can create our own family, and I would encourage you to do that. I know that you recently got married, and so I would make your friends and your husband and other people, maybe part of his family and other people that you love and who love you and are supportive and caring, consider them your family. Start treating them like family. Start having like dinners where everybody comes over or you go over there. Start putting together some traditions with your created family, because unfortunately not all of us get to choose. I mean, none of us get to choose our family, but we don't get to choose whether or not they're healthy or not either. And so they can be really terrible. Oh, hi, Nikki Fitch. Good to see you too. I don't know why it makes me accept these, but yes, thank you for your letter. That's very sweet. And so I think that creating your own family can sometimes allow us to let go of the unhealthy, biological family that we have, because biological families don't really, if they're not supportive and loving, then I feel like the term family doesn't apply. And so creating your own can be really healing. And a lot of my clients, that's been really helpful for them. And it's even helpful for me in a way that I moved to California and away from my family, and I have my own family here. And that helps me feel supported, loved, cared for, like I have a community where I live. Oh, thanks, Sarah M. And if you ask questions, if you tip, I'll make sure to answer any of your questions that you do. And I'll also be going over and having some of you live. So thanks, Sarah. So I hope that really helps, Allie. I would focus on creating your own family out of friends and other people who are important to you. And then slowly lowering the amount of time that you spend with them and lessening it and letting yourself process the loss, because I know it's going to feel really hard and it's going to feel icky, but giving yourself the time to process it, you'll be okay. It just takes some time. And I think it's sometimes just a psychological block. It's not that we want them in our life or that we're going to miss them. It's the thought that we have no one, but you have someone. You have people. So focus on that, okay? Okie dokie. Oh, thanks, Blue-Eyed Virgo. That's such a cute name, too. Your guys' names, they crack me up. Oh, yeah, and Sean, the website was down. We had some tech people that were terrible, and so we had... Oh, of course, Allie, you're welcome. So the website was down for a while, and then we finally figured out why. Okay. The Damn Ram says, that's also a clever name. I have a question. I'm 13, and I think I have depression. I want to see someone, but I'm 13, and don't therapists cost a lot of money? The truth of it is, and I think I need to redo a video on this. Let me know if you agree in the comments. I think I need to redo a video on how to get help. Oh, thanks, Dummy Account W. The names, that's why I'm laughing, the name. I need to do a video on getting help when funds are low, because I know that that's a difficult thing for a lot of us. Heck, I couldn't afford therapy all through college and grad school, but my college offered it for free, and that's how I went for all of that time off and on. And that's a resource. There are resources available, and I would honestly, the first thing I'd do, especially since you're 13, I would talk to your school counselor. I would spend time in there, getting some support and seeing, how much help you need, and maybe you just need a few sessions here and there, and a school counselor can fill that void. But if you need more intensive treatment, maybe they can refer you to low cost or free clinics. Okay? Let's see. Oh yeah, Christine M says, yeah, schools offer free therapy, which helps. Yay! And I have a video coming out soon where I talk a little about that too, so yay. Okay. Sumo N says, I'm wondering for a long time if you could still become a therapist even though I have self-harm scars. Yes, you definitely can. There's no rules or any legal. Oh, thanks, Allison B, giving me some likes. And I believe if you give this a like, if you give it a thumbs up below my video, then we can trend. Then we can ride on up. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Sean had the volume come on and I was like, too much of myself. You can be a therapist no matter what your mental health history, as long as you are A, working on it, B, in recovery. Like if it's an eating disorder thing, I would encourage you not to work in an eating disorder treatment center for a while because it can be horribly, horribly triggering until you feel good enough. But there's nothing to hold you back from becoming what you want and doing the career that you want. No shame. You can do whatever. You can be whoever you want. Just make sure that you're working on yourself and that you're getting into it to help others, not to figure out what's going on with you. You should already have worked on that. Okay? That's my advice on that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and a couple more, I'm going to answer a few more questions and then we'll have our first guest, okay? So if anybody wants to be a guest, you can wait in the little tab there at the side where I don't know how it looks on your screen, but for me, I have like tabs of chat, audience, and then I have guests. So I'll go over and we'll have our first guest on here in a minute. Oh, and also I remember the other day when I told you guys I was going to be on. Oh, thanks, Allie C. Yay, thank you. I'll look if you have a question and I would love to answer it for you. But Wascally Wabbit usually says the be our guest, and they're not on today. They couldn't make it. Okay. Oh, Christine, it is hard to see all the questions, but I kind of control the scroll a little slow. Control the scroll. That sounds like a catchphrase. Okay. Barbara Marie says, can you describe what it's like being in an intensive outpatient program? What happens? I've never talked to anyone but my therapist, so it's hard. Intensive outpatient is the step right below us going to inpatient. And intensive outpatient is usually like a day program. So we spend most days, usually anywhere from 4 to 6 days a week. So majority of our days in treatment. And that can be everything from group therapy to, it says, I was like, I got a notification. It says 11 fans are waiting to guest with you. Yay, we'll try to get through as many as you can. But it can be everything from a ton of group therapy to seeing your psychiatrist during that time, also having your therapy sessions, and it all depends on the program. Some programs are half days, some are full days. It depends on what you're looking at. But the truth of it is that it's just a lot of extra support and guidance. And I worked at one for an eating disorder treatment like that, and it was really cool and really great. And we had people that were there all day, and then we had people who did the half days, and they'd come in at lunch and stay through the evening because let's say they had school or work in the morning. It can really be beneficial, and I would really encourage you to do it because the one thing that I think we miss when we're only in outpatient with our therapist is all of the extra support. Oh, thanks, Dummy Account W. You're so sweet. Thank you. Is that we don't get the groups, so we don't get to hear other people's stories, and we can often feel alone in it. And that's what's been great about our community in general is that you're reminded all the time that you're not alone. And all the questions that people ask, you can often say like, hey, wow, I wanted to ask that too, but I was kind of embarrassed. So that kind of is a cool thing. Okay, one more question, and then I'm going to have someone as a guest. Oh, okay. So SRO 523 says, I recently stopped Celexa. What is an alternative? It made me feel dehydrated. You'd actually want to talk to your doctor. Unfortunately, I'm not an MD. I didn't go to medical school, but Celexa is an antidepressant in a lot of, I believe, I would assume, if my memory serves me. And there are a gajillion options. There's everything from Vibrad to, what's the new one? There's another one of my clients is on, but there's Prozac and Zoloft, and there's a ton of options. So I would tell your doctor, again, what symptoms you're wanting to have managed by the medication, and let them know what side effects you had from that medication. Those are the two things that are most important to a psychiatrist or a medical doctor, is those two things. And that way then they can, if it didn't do anything, then you need to let them know, and they can either increase dose, they can switch over. Okay, it is an antidepressant. Thanks, Miss Sassy Pants. And so you can switch to an SNRI, you can try another SSRI, you can increase the dose, they can add something else on. There are a zillion options, but it's important for you to let them know what symptoms you're having that you want fixed and what side effects you had from that medication. That way they can pick something that helps you, okay? I see Spoonie tip 500. Thank you. Yay! And also, oh, somebody wants to know how you are, Sean. But also, before I forget about that, there is a new thing that I was actually tempted to do just for genetics. It tells you where you're from and like who your people are. Like I think I'm Polish, but maybe I'm not. and it's like 23andMe, I want to say is what's called, and they swab your cheek, and it can tell you, they can do it for medications to tell what medications might work, and that's helped one of my clients. That's all I've heard about. It's a newer thing, but that's something, another way to look into it. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, Sean says he's doing good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it is 23andMe. Okay, cool. I'm going to switch over to the guests, and we're going to have Jennifer A. Are you ready? I'm going to make you a guest. Let's start answering some more questions. Okay, let me see. Oh, test anxiety, definitely. Oh, Allie said it's a tad pricey, but definitely cool and something I want to do. Yeah, I thought I heard it was expensive. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You're in your house today, not in your car.
No, yeah, I'm babysitting today for a friend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So basically my question is, say like I had to go like to the ER for like self-harm, like say like I needed stitches or something, and say like say I basically like made up a story of like how it happened, and you know, but it clearly they can tell like it's from self-harm. Can they still make me like see a crisis worker out of suspicion alone?
Yeah, unfortunately they can. It depends on the hospital, honestly, and how busy they are. I know that sounds terrible, but I worked in a hospital for quite a while, and if they're super busy, and let's say the psych consult is like already looking at other things, because I used to do that. I used to have to come and check and see and assess you. And I would usually come with the psychiatrist. And if they're busy and if there's just a suspicion, sometimes they'll, because hospitals are neglectful in some fashion, in a lot of fashions, they'll just let you go. But if they're not and they worry, they can have you assessed anyways. And that can be helpful if you are really struggling, then it might be good to get a little extra support. And maybe something you could ask for at the hospital is ask if they have any groups, if you're interested, if they have any support groups, because you could say like, hey, I'm just having a really hard time. These are some things I've been through. And you can even say, I'm not suicidal. I'm just really struggling with my self-harm impulses. Are there any groups that are, free or low cost or available? And that's a great way to get resources, because if your hospital is anything like the one I worked at, we used to have these lists of groups and things, and some that we ran, like I ran some groups there myself, and they're like, it was like a little, honestly, like a trailer in the back, but it was like our outpatient center. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good to see you.
Thank you, you too.
If you have any other questions, let me know.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, Katie for president. Oh, I'm not into politics. Oh my God, you guys, speaking of which, when I was on the red carpet, so I'd done all this prep, like, okay, if they ask this question, how do I properly describe what I do? Because I don't want people to, I want people to recognize that mental health is important.
Red carpet for what?
Oh, the red carpet for the streamies. Sorry. I don't go on a lot of red carpets, you guys. So the red carpet for the streamies, and I forget what channel it was or what news outlet, but I was like, hi, I'm Kati Morton. I have a mental health channel. She's like, great. What do you think about the current state of the politics? And I'm like, what? I was like, I don't really talk about that. And I said, honestly, it's kind of a crapshoot right now, but my channel is about mental health. I'm like, oh, I got so uncomfortable. I was like, I didn't like that at all. Don't like that. So anyway, that's just the funny story about politics. Okay, let me answer 2 more questions and then we'll bring another guest on. So if you want to hop over. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. And I hope that was helpful. They will usually have you assessed, which could be a really good and helpful thing. Okay. Eunice says, oh, thanks, dummy account W. You're so sweet. Everybody's so giving today. Oh, this is actually, okay, so I have a couple good questions. Sorry, sometimes it scrolls past. I'm like, oh, I like that one too. Okay, Eunice says, how do I know if I'm recovered when I can't remember what normal should feel like? That's, not to reuse the word normal, but that's so normal. Oh, thanks, Sarah. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah, and if we like it, then we trend, you guys. It's super exciting if you give it a little thumbs up at the bottom. It can be hard to know what normal feels like, and it's something that is going to take a little time. And there may not be a time in your life when you didn't feel any of those eating disorder thoughts or anxiety thoughts or whatever it is you're recovering from. If there are other people with other issues, honestly, I would consider, if you feel, these are like, let's say 2 things. We'll start with 2 things. Oh, thanks, Allison. Start with 2 things. One being that if most of your days, like the majority of your days, feel pretty good, not great, not like amazing, but like decent. And the eating disorder voice isn't there. And if it kind of comes, we can kind of let it pass, and it's not a big deal. If that's happening, and if the negative thoughts about yourself and all that like negativity that used to like roll through your brain 24/7 isn't really there, maybe it's only there like 5-10% of the day, then I would say you're doing great. I'd say you're recovered. And I think that recovery is going to kind of come and go. Like there'll be shitty days, there'll be good days, but if that's the majority of your days, then that's what I would say. And I would talk to your therapist about it a little to gain a little insight as to what like healthy or normal feels like, because everyone's is going to be different, but that's kind of how I gauge it with my clients. If there aren't a lot of big stressors happening, we're able to manage the things that come up, the voices aren't too intense, we're able to overcome them, all of those things, then I think we're doing great. And then give yourself a round of applause. Yay! And it is hard and it takes time, but know that your normal is going to be different from other people's normals, and we just have to figure out what feels good to you and what's healthy for you, because my good days might not be your good days. Everybody's different, but we have to figure out what that is, and I think just taking some time to notice is what's important, and that's how we do that. Okay, there was one, somebody asked about like if I saw an eating disorder patient in yoga, would I talk to them? And the truth of it, I'll talk about this and then I'm going to go over and have a guess. The truth of that is, oh, thanks Sophie Joe. I like all the little thumb, they're all different colors. I like that. So the Sophie Joe, or wait, what was I going to say? Sorry. So I saw a client in yoga. Then, first of all, ethics, if it is actually a client of mine, I cannot say hi to them. They have to say hi to me. Otherwise, I'm breaking their confidentiality. Because what if you're with a friend? They're like, how do you know her? You're like, that's my therapist. I wasn't ready to tell you this. So I would never approach a client if I saw them. I have been out actually multiple times and seen clients, but I don't say anything because I can't say anything unless they want to say hi to me, and that is up to them. So that's one part of it. Second thing is I have seen people in yoga classes or in workout classes or any kind of thing, even just walking on the street. I see people who look really ill, and that's only one type of eating disorder, right? That's only the underweight portion that I'm talking about. And I'm not going to say anything to them because that's not how it really works. They have to want to get help, number one. Number two, like, who would respond well to that? Am I right? Okay. Oh, hi, Jade from Ireland. And KK Kache. Oh, that's a cute name, KK Kache. All the way from Australia. Okay, let's go have another guest. And let's see who we got. Waiting the longest. Okay, Crybaby Pilots, are you ready to be made a guest? Be our guest, be our guest. Let's see if it will connect. We have people from all over the place. Okay. Is it connecting? I kind of hear you. Hi, how are you?
Okay, so I've been to like 3 different therapists and none of them really worked out. And I was just wondering if it's like something I'm doing like wrong or it's just the therapist.
Is there a certain thing that's not feeling right? Like you just don't feel like you click with them, or you don't feel like they listen? What is it?
I just feel like the things that they tell me that are like supposed to help, they don't really help, and like I just feel like we don't really like click.
Gotcha. So it doesn't feel like they're offering anything that's good or helpful, and you're like, this is a waste of my time?
Yeah, basically.
Have you tried, okay, so here are a couple thoughts, and let me know if, this kind of answers your question. So we're all going to have different types of therapy that work best for us. And it's kind of good sometimes when we either don't connect with a therapist, if we're like, oh, I don't really like you, or we don't feel like they're giving us helpful tips, is to try a different type. So for instance, like I do more CBT, DBT based therapy. So usually mine comes with a lot of like techniques and tools and homework, but that doesn't work for everybody. There's other people who do strictly talk therapy where it's like we process through it. Then, there's all sorts of different kinds. And so you might want to try a different kind. And maybe you're looking for more structured therapy, which would be more like my type, or maybe you're looking for a looser like talk therapy. So that's like my first thing of advice. And then the second would be, I guess is a question kind of like how many times have you seen them? Because I always say we got to give it a little bit of time to see if it fits or if it works.
Yeah, because I went like 4 times each, and I went to 1, 2, but yeah.
Yeah, 4, in all truth, I think 4 is about the right amount. You should feel, like for me, I want to say for my therapist, when I was finding a new one, it was like 2 or 3 sessions before I was like, okay, I like you, or no, I'm going to keep looking. So I think that's fair, but I would encourage you to keep looking. Some people have told me that it's taken them like, trying out 5, 6 therapists before they found one a really good fit. And it's okay. Hopefully you have more options available. Because sometimes it's just us and making sure that it's something we're looking for something. And we might not know what that something is, but we'll know it when we find it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep trying and maybe see if you can find another type of therapist, because that sometimes helps too, because it might just be that you don't like that style. Because there are certain types of therapy that I know I don't like. And so, everybody's different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Of course. Good to see you.
You
Bye.
too.
Okay. Yeah, just never give up. That's the key, like what Dean said. It's very true. Because it can take a while, right? Am I right? Okay, somebody's asking if I'm going...
So many people in the waiting room. It's crazy.
I know there are a lot of people in the waiting room.
It's awesome.
In the waiting room. It's like they're at my office, just sitting in my waiting room. They flip the light and they're waiting. Okay, let's see. Oh, Blue-Eyed Tara. Yeah, don't give up on trying therapists. I agree. Everybody's giving great... Oh, thanks, Alice G. So give me applause. But yeah, we can't give up, and it takes a while. And I can even be honest that for me, there are certain things I didn't think were a big deal that were a big deal. Like, I need my therapist to be older than me, which shouldn't really matter, and I needed to be a woman. That I don't know why. Those are things that I didn't really think mattered, but I needed that. So, Okay, let's see. Thanks, Crystal N, giving me some likes. Okay, so Jen B says, how can I deal with the phobia of doctors? I can't even... Man, why does it jump when I'm almost through the question? I can't even imagine myself going. I have no idea what to do. Oh, thanks, Dummy Account W. I haven't seen any of your questions, but if you have them or if you're waiting to be a guest, I will find you and I will answer your questions because that's so generous of you. A lot of people have a fear of doctors, okay? It can be scary. It can feel kind of cold. We can worry what we'll even say, how it will work. Oh, thanks, Nikki Fitch. They said you're on form tonight. Waiting room. It's so cute. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jasmine K. So the truth of it is that a lot of people are scared, and there are a couple ways that we can get through it. Number one, and something that's I'm not a huge fan of, because I do believe that we should be in person more. I think that there's a lot to be said about being in person with someone, but there are a lot of options online for Skype therapy and psychiatry, over the phone. There's a lot of things like that. And if that's something you're interested in, you can really look into that because it's actually a little bit cheaper and then it's more accessible and there's more times you can do it, all that sorts of stuff. Oh, thanks, Icy Spoonie. You're so sweet. I'm trying to keep an eye out, for questions and stuff from you guys. So there's that. Then the other thing is having a supportive person go with you. Have them make the appointment. Have them take you there. Have them, make sure you write things down ahead of time. Write down what you're wanting to ask and what you're wanting to say, because we can do it when we're feeling calm, not when we're there. We might blank out, boo, or we can't remember any of the reasons why we wanted to make the appointment. And so I would bring a friend, have the sheet that you wrote everything down, and if you blank out, then they maybe can get that across to the doctor and we'll get through it. And as you slowly have these, okay, thanks, Alice G. That's so sweet. As you slowly have these not terrible experiences with doctors, then we'll have that to draw on so that it's not as scary. And you can also slowly work yourself up. Watch my video about exposure therapy. That will help too. That's what I was going to get into. But that gives you an idea of kind of where to start and how to go about it. Okay? One more question and then we'll go into the guests. Oh yeah, Hope H says that she uses Skype for her appointments with her psychiatrist. So there are a lot of options out there. Okay, let me see. Control the scroll. I like that hashtag, Carly. That cracks me up. It's catchy. Can't help it. Okay, so Icy Spoonie asks, do you have any tips for dealing with the mental side of chronic pain? I've been dealing with it for 4 years and I don't have any coping mechanisms. The truth, honestly, and it's on my list and it's something I'm doing research for. Unfortunately, I don't specialize in chronic pain. There are certain people like pain doctors and there's actual therapists and psychiatrists that specialize in that. And so maybe that's something that I try to find out from having someone else on the channel as well. But I'm looking into it. It's on my list. That's all. I'm just letting you know. But there's a lot to be said when we struggle with chronic pain and illness. Group therapy. I know that can be hard, but almost all hospitals, hospices, different medical facilities have these available. And it helps to feel not alone, because a lot of times due to chronic pain or illness, it's hard to get around. So then we can feel isolated, and no one in our family usually understands what we're going through. And so it can feel really helpful and honestly improve our mood to be able to talk about it and have people really get where we're at and what's going on. Oh, thanks, Keely Pierman, or Piermain. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much. Oh, there aren't any groups for your diagnosis. Do they have a broad group? Because when I was not even in grad school, I became a certified grief counselor, and I went down to this hospice in San Diego to make that happen. And they had a group for people with chronic illness or chronic pain, a group for that. And then they had a group for their caregivers, and there were all these different things. I don't know if that's something maybe you can talk to your doctor about. Thanks, Bailey R. You're so sweet. So those are some options of things. And I don't know, oh, thanks, Jennifer. That's so sweet. She said, I wish more people cared as much as you do. Thanks. That's so sweet. I hope more people do. Should. Get on trend, people. Come on. Oh, thanks, Keo Rourke. Did I say that right? I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. And thanks, Sarah. Everybody's so sweet. But I think that look into it. Ask for help, speak up. And aside, oh, thanks, Pebbles38. And I think aside from the groups and getting more support, because I really find that to be the most helpful, then I think the next portion of it is maybe getting individual therapy and also doing some things that feel good to you. Find a different, oh, thanks, Alice Burnett. Everybody's so giving today. Thank you, thank you. And look at us trending. Look at us go.
Oh, yeah.
So
cool.
they, oh yeah, Sean's like, that's really cool. But so group, getting your own therapy, and then doing things that feel good for you and doing things that you enjoy. Crocheting, I was actually just talking in the comments, I want to say yesterday or the day before. I was a little behind on getting in Monday's videos comments. I'm sorry, but I had the streamies and that made everything all out of whack. But there's a lot to be said about crocheting. There was actually this research study that came out a few years ago that shows that it improves your mood and lowers your level of anxiety and stress. And so a lot of people take up crocheting. I don't know what your limitations are due to your illness, but they're, you know, whether it's some kind of craft or music, or maybe it's just joining a group of other women where you're in a book club or something. I find any kind of socialization, any kind of self-care tool can really help as well. And give those a try, and then let me know at my next live stream or in my video. What day is today? Friday? In my video on Monday, let me know. Let me know how you're doing and if any of that was helpful. And I am going to continue to research more about like the psychological effects of chronic illness and chronic pain, so that I can give you some better and more like specific tips. But those are some things so far preliminarily that I've read and that I know have helped other people, and other people who have chronic illness that are on the channel, because we have a lot of those people in our community. So maybe leave it in a comment below my next video and hopefully we can start a conversation. Okay? Okay.
Guest.
Oh, guest. Yeah, Sean's like, guest. I know. Oh, I'm like an old lady, you guys. I was hunched over. Now my back aches. Okay, ready, Mimi Mary? We're bringing you on. We've got a lot of people in there, you guys.
Oh, it's awesome.
I know. 24 guests.
Let's stay in the guests for a while.
Be our guests. Be our guest.
Oh.
Okay, let me answer it in the chat.
Allie Rock is just at 1,000.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Thanks,
Allie.
Allie. Thank you. Okay. Oh, thanks. Hi, Mimi.
Hi.
Oh, I can't. Oh, there you are. I was like, I can't hear you, but there you are. I'm going to grab some water. What's going on?
So you talk a lot about eating disorders, and I was wondering if you could talk about more about morbid obesity necessarily than or anorexia, because it feels like a lot of times morbid obesity gets taken out of the other set of eating disorders.
Yep.
And I've personally found that a lot of treatments for depression are out of my reach because of my obesity. Like, I can't be put under for electrotherapy. I can't, I'm too big for the chair for electromagnetic therapy. So
you're
it's really frustrating.
Yeah, that is really frustrating. And I do, I actually have some more videos that I'll be putting up about binge eating disorder and like overeating as a whole and obesity and managing that, because I think that there's a lot of stigma already against eating disorders, but even more so against people being overweight and a lot of assumptions that are made because of that. And I think that there needs to be, as a whole, there needs to be a greater understanding that it's, in my view, as an eating disorder specialist, I treat it the same. Like anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, it's all the same. It all comes from the same place. And we usually use food as a certain way, like food and feelings are connected and they shouldn't be. And we use food in that way. And it doesn't matter if you're underweight or overweight, it's still not healthy. Is there anything like specific that you want me to talk to, like how to access help or?
Well, that's the frustrating thing is I have pretty good insurance and I still end up running into huge barriers. I have sleep apnea, but none of the treatments are available to me. Either because of severe anxiety involving the machines they want you to sleep with, or I don't qualify for surgery. So the other part of it is I think there's probably a huge group of obese people like me who are suicidal because they are out of options. And that's kind of where I am right now is I feel like I'm out of options and I don't really know what to do. I'm 24. I can't really work.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to work, but I keep getting injured and it's a frustrating cycle, I guess. And I don't really know how to get out of it since I've been here since I was a young child.
Yeah. So, okay. If you feel like you need to give me more information, cut me off and give me more information. It sounds like there may be some things that we need to treat. Is there like an order maybe? Because you were talking about like they won't do certain things because of your anxiety, right?
Yeah, it's like if I could get treated for the anxiety and depression, I could maybe deal with the sleep apnea machine.
Okay.
But a lot of the treatments for the depression are off limits to me because I weigh so much. So it ends up, I kind of get stuck in this cycle with my therapist as well, where it's like this loop that always comes back to I weigh too much.
Okay. So. As a side, okay, so a couple things. My first thought would be medication might get your head above water enough where you feel like maybe they'd let you do the sleep apnea.
Yeah, so there are certain medications that I can take, that I am taking, but some of them repress your respiratory system, so they're afraid I'll stop breathing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that would be my first thought is like, I guess looking in that avenue a little bit more and seeing if there'd be ways that they would work with you on that so that we can get the sleep apnea machine and we can hopefully work on that because that's terrible. Like my dad had horrible sleep apnea and he had a machine thing he had to wear and it actually ended up helping a lot, even though, it can be hard to sleep with at first. You have to get used to it, but that's definitely something that maybe the working on the anxiety component could help. As far as that. And I think and I know it's really hard because things can be really frustrating and people can be total assholes, but instead of looking at it as a whole picture, like maybe we start with little chunks at a time, because then my next word of advice would be working with a dietitian so that because often I find, and this may not be your experience, but a lot of my clients who struggle with overeating, if they're working with a dietitian and they say that to their doctor and they say like, hey, I've started this new plan and I'm doing this, the fact that they're making an effort to work on that, usually they'll make a few concessions for you and allow you to do things that they maybe before were like, well, I don't know. I don't think we can do this. They'll be like, okay, we're willing to try this. Let's check up in 2 months and then let's move forward. Like there might be some kinds of steps. And so I think that seeing a dietitian might be helpful.
The dietitian I've been seeing through my insurance had my psychiatrist prescribe me naltrexone and Wellbutrin together.
Okay.
In the hope that it would curb my eating, and I haven't gained weight since starting taking it, but I also haven't really lost weight.
Yeah.
Gone through probably, I think 14 different medications.
Oh, wow.
For everything, for just a variety of things. So I guess that's the other part of my question is, when you feel like you're out of treatment options, how do you find the will to keep going?
It's a really good question. And it's honestly it can be really hard. And the truth of it, I think, is being around supportive people and being around people who believe in you, who love you, who are caring and like just supportive of your process. Because I think sometimes we get so stuck in the calling this thing and waiting on hold for this and then going to this appointment and finding out the same thing and trying this and having it not work. You know, we get caught in that, and that's like all that we can think about. And so taking some time for yourself, go spend with your friends, go spend time with people who love and support you, and do a little bit of self-care in between. Make sure that you're not just focusing on the illness all the time and fixing it and working on it, because it's amazing that you are, but it can be really exhausting when people are saying no and they're, you know, they're not helping. And that can feel really bad. And I know that there are limitations as far as like medical things in general and weight. And that's something that I know some hospitals locally for us are working on, because there's been a lot of pushback from people where they're like, this is discrimination. How come we can't get MRIs or all this stuff that, you know, because it won't support our weight. And so people are working on that. Obviously, every state, every city is going to be different, but that's something also, you know, hopefully will start changing. But I would spend time with friends and family and people who are supportive. And then know that's why instead of taking it on as a whole thing, taking it on as little steps, like looking into seeing a dietitian and seeing if that helps you. Also, maybe look at my free eating disorder workbook and see if that rings true to you. Do you feel like that's the thought process you're going through, and that maybe helps slow it down and help you understand where it's coming from? And maybe focusing in your therapy on like, why is it that I struggle with overeating, or why is it this has happened? Like, when did it start, and has it been my whole life, and why do I think that is? And I don't know if you've done a lot of work with that, but that's where I usually start with my clients, you know?
Somebody in the comments asked about gastric bypass. I would have to lose, I think it's 110 pounds in order to qualify.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I'd have to keep it off for a certain point because my insurance is really strict.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing that has been helping is DBT. I am in a DBT group, so that's been.
Yay.
But, yeah. And by the way, it is so cool to actually talk to a YouTuber. Like, this is the most awesome thing that's happened to me all week, by the way. So
yay. Well, thank you for being on and everything. And keep me posted. I try to do these once a week. So if you're able to, like, you follow me on Twitter, I'll usually let you know. And then let us know how it's going. You know, keep us up to date. Because we're all in it together. And we'll try to work it out. You know, I'll try to look into other options and consider other things. But just try to take it one little thing at a time. You know, each appointment at a time. Maybe looking into seeing a dietitian, and if your insurance covers it, and how much would that cost, you know, that kind of thing. And just, that's our little nugget. That's all we're going to do for the next like month. It's just that.
Okay.
And then celebrate it. If we get it, if it's like, oh, my insurance covers it and I can see a nutritionist and you find one and you like them, like throw yourself a little mini party. Okay. We have to celebrate all the little successes, you know, along the way.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Keep us posted, okay? I'll be sending good thoughts your way.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Mary. Or Mimi. Mary. Okay. Let's answer a few more questions. Okay. So thanks. I hope that stuff, there's so many things that frustrate me about the mental health care system, and that is one of them. So don't think that we're going to give up. And as our Kenyan group gets bigger, we can have more power and we can make change happen.
Hashtag Kenyan hug.
I know, I like it.
Pretty good.
I know the
I
hashtag.
think that's Allison and Carly.
I think it is. I like that Sean said the hashtag Kenyan hug was trending pretty big. So that's pretty cool. Okay, a little bit more water here for my whistle. Okay. Now let's see. It says, okay, Crystal N says, I'm afraid to take new medication that has been prescribed by my psychiatrist because of the chance of weight gain. And there's a little bit more to that. Where is it? I don't know if I can. Okay, a chance of weight gain. Any tips? That's what it is. Ooh. Okay. The truth of it is that usually if we're really worried about weight gain, that means our eating disorder has gone wild. And we have to consider the benefit. So it's like cost and benefit, right? A lot of medications have weight gain as a side effect. However, we don't know if it's going to affect us at all. For instance, I have a client who's on one of the most weight-gaining medications. I'm not even going to say the name because I know if any of you are on it, you're going to freak out. But it means it doesn't work that way for you either. He's super slender. he actually has, I mean, now his job is really active, but he's on this medication at a high dose, and usually people just gain weight and can't stop gaining weight, and he hasn't gained any at all. If in fact he actually lost a few pounds because his psychiatrist told him that he'd gained like a couple pounds and he'd lost it easily. So not everyone gains weight from medication. That's number one. Number two, if we're too afraid that we're going to gain weight, that's something you talk with your therapist about. And if you're not seeing a therapist, the fact that you're too afraid to get the help you need because it might cause weight gain is a reason to start seeing a therapist, because that means that weight gain is really triggering to you. And where does that come from? And then we get in the whole eating disorder chit chat. And so I think that we have to talk about it with our professional, because eating disorders are so sneaky, you guys, and they try to tell us everything is fine and this is normal, and everybody worries about their weight and da-da-da-da. But people, trust me, people without eating disorders wouldn't consider not getting a medication that could help them because of that. That wouldn't be a thought that would cross their mind. So see someone, okay? Get some help. Yes, I'm okay. Christina B says, am I okay, Katie? I am A-okay. I don't know if there was a certain thing you were asking about or something you wanted to know. I'm fine. Let's see. One more question and then I'll take another guest. So, okay, Katarina GR99. Why does it always go away so quickly? And then I can't find it. I am struggling, you guys. I might have to take another question. Oh, okay. Bridget says, how do I confront a family member who is secretive with alcohol when I don't deal well with confrontation? I have a video that's coming out soon. You heard it here first. It'll come out, I don't know, I'm filming a new set of videos today, tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I don't know. I have quite a few videos to film about dealing with an alcoholic parent. So it kind of goes into that a little bit. But the truth of it is that it's not always the healthiest for us, the non-drinker or non-alcoholic, to confront the drinker/alcoholic. And the reason for that is that often we're confronting them hoping that they'll stop. And we don't have any control over that. And there's nothing really that we can do to make them stop, because alcoholism is a disease, and they need to get proper help and support in order to overcome it. And so keep that in mind, because often we get so wrapped up in getting them to stop, and we do all these things. Oh, thanks, Keely Permain. Am I saying that right? Permain. Thank you. And so not doing, don't try to confront them hoping that they'll stop, okay? The reason you could confront them, and I wouldn't even call it confronting, maybe this will make it a little better. I wouldn't confront them. I would consider it a conversation, because you're worried about them. And that's really the only healthy step we can take towards someone who is struggling with alcoholism, is just to say, I noticed that your drinking has increased and I'm really worried about you. Is there anything you want to talk about? Or, do you, anything like that, like being a resource. And that's all, like I talk about all the time, how can we help someone who's struggling with blank? It's just being there. And so you can check in, but know that you can't make them stop. Just like an eating disorder, no one can make us get better, like our depression, when people are like, just snap out of it. We can't do that. We have to want to, and we have to want to put in the work, and we have to want to see someone to get some extra help. And so just letting them know that you're worried about them, you hope that they can get better, and you're there if they need you. That's really all we can do. And I know alcoholism can be really dangerous and it's hard, and so I have a video coming out about it being in your family and how do you manage that. Like Al-Anon is amazing. Oh my God. Oh, praise hands to Al-Anon. And AA can be great for those suffering, but also there's tons of other ways. You don't have to be in AA. There are lots of other support groups and stuff like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Okay, let's have another guest. Be our guest, be our guest. Okay, so it looks like my next guest is Sorcha XX Dunn. Am I saying that right? I'm making you a guess, so I hope I'm saying it right, but you can let me know when it connects you. Oh, thanks, Katie O. Okay. Be our guest. I know, Connor. I miss Wascally Wabbit and all of the songs. Are you there? It wouldn't connect. I'm sorry. You can try again, honey. Okay.
Sarah.
Let me look. Hold on, you guys. Yep. You ready, Sarah? Himmelstein? I'm making you my guest. Be your guest. Be your guest. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you.
Oh,
Sorry, I just have to plug in my computer really quickly.
that's okay. But thanks, Beth, for the tip. I saw that come across the bottom. Thank you so much. Put your computer in, and we'll get to it. Oh, Emma, you just tweeted about that song. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, and Christina M. asked that question again after I finished with Sarah's question. I'd like to answer that about the relationships and feelings have, for them. I think that would be a good one to talk about. Oh, there, Allison. Thank you. The youngest. The youngest. That is our theme song. I think it's the theme song for the YouNows. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
I was just wondering if you could talk about the idea of like taking up space in relationships and in general, and just how to get over like different inhibitions you have around that, like feeling guilty for that.
Like, are you talking about like emotional space, like needing more time, or do you mean like needing space?
I think like the idea of like actually having needs in relationships and
Gotcha.
not being afraid to like
Ask
voice
for them,
those and
get them met.
yeah, just the idea in general.
Yeah. Okay. And it can be uncomfortable, and a lot of it has to do with our self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's going to sound like such a cop-out, Katie, but it's the truth. Like, a lot of it comes from the fact that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in my experience with my clients and even myself, like when I don't feel like I'm deserving of something, that's when I have trouble actually getting my needs met. It's because I don't feel like I've earned it or I deserve it or I'm worth it. And it kind of comes out of like how I feel about myself. It doesn't really have anything to do with the other person. Do you find that to be true?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so I think some of the work that I have my clients do, and I think I've talked about it in other videos, maybe off and on a little bit, but I used to run this group at the Eating Disorder Treatment Center called the Body and Soul Group. And it was a lot about like growing who you are and slowly, and it takes time. There's no quick fix. I'm sorry, as with all the things that we talk about, there's no quick fix. But the things that I think you can do are writing love letters to yourself. I know this sounds really creepy and weird. Bear with me, okay? But writing a love letter to, like, especially if you feel bad, it depends on where your self-confidence lacks the most. For a lot of my clients, especially at Eating Disorder Clinic, it was body focused. So a lot of times I have them write a letter from their soul to their body, thanking it for all of the things. So like, thank you toes, that you're there, you keep me balanced, you allow me to walk. Thank you feet that I have you and you work and I'm able to get around. Thank you fingers and hands for letting me express myself online. I talk so much with you. All of those things. And then kind of writing love letters about what are things that you love about yourself. And you don't have to read these to anybody or do anything with these, but I would encourage you to try to do it once a week. Mm-hmm. You think you can do that? It doesn't have to be long.
I can ask like a follow-up question.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I guess the idea of like, sorry, I'm like blanking out. That's another thing.
Okay.
Just like to, let's see. I guess, okay. The idea is like, if a lot of the things that I feel like I like about myself have to do with like the way that I interact with other people, but then somehow that like, sometimes I feel like I care more than like other people, so I feel like sometimes it can be a negative thing. Like I'm really good at turning into like a positive thing into like a not so good thing.
Maybe, okay, so there's a couple things. There's a couple ways we can manage that. That means that you're going to have to limit the amount of positive things that you do, that you write in your love letter, that focus on that. Okay? Limit it to like maybe 2 things. Okay? And know that being empathic and caring about other people isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think in one of my videos, or was it an Instagram post, I was like, I'm an empathic badass. Like, I feel so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, do you hear that? I don't even know if you guys hear that siren. But somebody's on fire. But I think that that's also a positive. Add that to your list. That I feel a lot, I care for people. I think that's actually a good thing. I wouldn't say that as a negative, but I think what we're trying to grow is, instead of growing your care for other people, we're trying to grow your care for yourself, because we have to keep filling up our own gas tank before we give gas away to other people. I know it's a horrible analogy, but that's just the first thing that came to mind. But it's like we can't give out energy if we don't put it in. And so I would write those down as positives. And if you find yourself spinning into the negative, I want you to talk back to it. Then we have to kind of go backwards outside of just writing the letters, and we have to talk back to that negative voice, because that all comes from kind of like the self-hatred or lack of self-confidence or whatever we're feeling. And we have to turn it back into love and to support. And if you really struggle to come up with those things, I know this is going to sound horribly awkward, but asking maybe your mom or a best friend, be like, hey, I'm trying to really work on, feeling better about myself. Could you maybe email me or text me 1 or 2 things you like about me? I know that sounds crazy, but people will do it. And especially if they're your close people, they won't feel awkward about it at all. I promise. They'll be like, of course, I love that you're doing this. I should do that. Would you do that for me? And you can say yes. And then we're like, yay, everybody loving everybody. So give that a try and see if it helps. Let me know. I like the follow-ups. I like to know how you're doing. So if you're able to come on for the next live stream or on Monday's video, let me know if you're able to do it and write a love letter.
Okay.
I've
never done this before. This is so interesting.
Yeah, give it a try. It's really awkward at first. Trust me. Everything I have my clients do, I've tried to do myself, almost everything. So give it a try. Oh, thanks, Pebbles. Got a new tip. But yeah, and let me know. It actually does help. It feels really weird at first, and then the weirdness kind of goes away, and then you start feeling really good. So give it a go, okay? And let me know.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Sarah. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's a couple more questions. Let's do a couple more questions in the chat, and we'll do one more guest, okay? Here we go. Okay, there was one that somebody had asked, and I told her to ask it again. I think it was Christina M. Yes, there it is. I found it. Thanks, Beth's New Journey. Oh, that's a cool name, too. Okay, so Christina M. says, when clients discuss the feelings they have for you in therapy or about the relationship, where did you go? Why did you jump? This drives me so crazy. Anyway, it'll come back. I don't know where it went. But it's like, how do I deal if clients have feelings for me or express feelings for me? It won't even let me go back far enough to find it. What gives you now? It jumped and now it's gone. Okay, so if you can send it again, that would be great. Christina M. I think it was Christina or Katrina. So anyway, how do I deal with clients feeling like they have, if they have feelings for me? Oh, thanks, Beth. I don't know. Ask it again. I'm not going to get the question right. Oh, does it make me uncomfortable? Okay, that was what I was looking for. I was like, there's another part to it, and I don't remember. Okay, so if someone is a client of mine, and they're in session with me, and they say that they have feelings for me or anything, does it make me uncomfortable? And the truth of it is no. And maybe a new therapist, like someone who hasn't been doing it for very long, might feel uncomfortable. But honestly, throughout our training and everything, someone's going to have someone who gets feelings for them. Frankly, because the therapeutic relationship can be a unique type of relationship. Oh, thanks, Jasmine K. And so if you haven't had a lot of training, maybe you haven't had that happen yet, but because of the therapeutic relationship, a lot of things that people normally don't talk about in a lot of situations, or things that are really make us feel vulnerable and intimate, we share with someone else, and it actually is in a safe, healthy, happy place. Oh, thanks, Jenny G90 or Go90. Thank you. It's a normal response to then feel really attached to your therapist, because you're normally not sharing that kind of information, and it makes us feel really vulnerable and attached. Yes, it has happened to me. It was one of my first clients. I think it was like my third client. Oh, thanks, Allie C. And so it's very normal. And when you bring it up, if you're able to talk about it, then you could talk about it in session and why it came up, and like the therapist can kind of normalize it for you. And understand that oftentimes it's like it's a confusion of attachment, or it could be something else, but usually that's where it comes from. And that's what my experience was, that because this person that I was seeing, he had never had that kind of a relationship and been able to talk about things and cry in front of somebody else. Like, nobody likes to do that. And so that made him feel extra close to me. We got to talk about why that was, and what the closeness actually meant, and what that really meant for therapy. Thanks, Beth's New Journey. And so that's kind of how that works. But it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I think it's something that needs to be brought up more in therapy and talked about more, because it's really, really common. Okay? Let's see. Okay. One more question on here and then one more guest. Cool. And then we're going to call it quits. And then we all have to have a weekend. Yay! Everybody's working for the weekend. Okay. Oh, I'll answer this really quickly, but it doesn't count as a question. Do I think my clients are losers? Of course not. Not in the slightest. They're actually getting help. They're winners, and they're working very hard. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Katrina asks, hi, my parents don't know about my ED, but they're constantly triggering with their comments. What can I do? If you don't want to tell them about your eating disorder, something that you can do is just when they say certain things, if there's a way, it depends on your comfortability. I'm going to offer up some options. Take it or leave it. This may not be comfortable for you, but you could say something to the effect of, hey, make sure it's not in the moment, first of all. Make sure it's when it's not a charged environment for you. You're not already triggered and really struggling. It's something you can do afterwards. And I would say something to the effect of like, hey, Mom, oh, thanks, Bailey. Hey, Mom, when you said blank last time, it made me really self-conscious, and it was just really hard for me. It's something I'm really trying to work on myself. And so you could just say, like, could you just be aware of that? Maybe that would be really helpful. Keep it kind of soft. You don't have to be extremely specific. You don't have to tell her that, like, oh, it makes my eating disorder go crazy. You can just say, it made me really conscious of that, and maybe you can just say, I'm trying to eat more intuitively and not worry about that. Could you just be supportive? Oftentimes parents just don't realize, people in our lives don't realize, and if you just mention something soft like that, they might be like, oh, I didn't realize I was being so judgmental, or oh, wow, that was not a nice thing to say, and they may just not have been aware, and so that's just making them aware, and hopefully that can kind of help that solve itself. Also, on the other hand, you could maybe tell them about your eating disorder so that you can get the help that you need if you're not seeing someone. Because I know that a lot of us fear telling our parents and we think it's terrible. And yes, some of you may have really shitty, terrible, mean, abusive parents. I get that. But for the rest of you who don't, it's never, in my experience, it's never been as scary as my clients are worried it's going to be. And they actually are really helpful. Thanks, Allie Rogers. They're actually really helpful because I think that when we finally tell them, then we can actually get support and they can get us the help that we have been needing and maybe didn't even realize we needed. And then we can actually start recovering and feeling better. Okay? I don't know. There's been a question that's pulled up. Give me 1 second. I have to look something up real quick. I'm being really, I know, weird, but I have to be sneaky about something. Because
Are you being sneaky?
I'm being sneaky. I can't tell you something. I'm seeing if I can tell you. I don't know. They haven't told me if they've announced. So I'm looking.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So give me a second. Yep. Okay, I can tell you. Okay, so I am coming to this is a weird segue, and I'll talk about it more in videos, but I knew that they were announcing
drum roll.
I think this week. I'm going to VidCon Europe in Amsterdam. Yay! And they asked me a few weeks ago, but I couldn't say anything until they announced it. And so I will be coming to VidCon Europe. I'm coming to Amsterdam. I've never been to Amsterdam, you guys. And I'm going to spend a lot of time because I've only been to Europe to come to Scotland. I know, Nikki Fitch is so exciting. So for all of you who are over there, get your tickets. I'll be there. I know I'm going to be heading up some panels. I don't know which ones yet, but most likely many mental health geared panels, and I'll do a meet and greet, and you can see me and I can see you. Oh, thanks, Pebbles. And so it's in Amsterdam is the VidCon Europe. I don't know, that's all I'm doing thus far. Sean and I are going to be traveling around in Europe, taking vacations / talking with family and friends. We have some people who live over there. Thanks, Keely Piermain. So anyway, we're going to do that. So I'll be there, and it's April 8th and 9th, if my memory serves correctly, and you can look it up. You can just search VidCon Amsterdam. It's VidCon Europe, they're calling it. And so, yeah, so I will, Sean and I will be over there, traveling all around, and I'll let you know when it gets closer, once we've solidified more of our travel plans, where I'll be doing meet and greets and all that stuff. Yeah, so, Miss Sassy Pants, and I will be at VidCon also, the one in Anaheim. I've already been invited to that at the end of June. Yeah, so, yay! So that's exciting. So I'm really excited to do that. I'm excited to meet all of you wonderful people. So get your tickets. VidCon's been super supportive of me and mental health in our community. And so thanks, Beth's New Journey. So yeah. Oh, and I hope to come back to Scotland. You guys have to talk to Sarah Fisk on Twitter because she's the one that brought me out. And so I want to come to Scotland again, and I would love to go to Elgin again and do all of that. So we'll try to make things happen. But I'll let you know as it gets closer. But I will be at VidCon Amsterdam, April 8th and 9th. I just have to figure out what other places I'll be. And I'll try to come to London. Unfortunately, London's really expensive. So anyway, but I'm trying to do as much as I can. I'll try to meet as many of you as I can, and I'll try to hopefully be coming every year. Keep your fingers crossed. I hope they like me and they like what I do.
You do too.
Okay, so I have my last guest. Remember, I said only one more guest. Is Jillian Calum? Is that right? Did I say that right? I hope so. I'm going to have you on to answer your question, and then we all get to go into our weekends. Yay! Is it connect? Connecting. Hi, Jillian. Oh, I can't hear you. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Maybe can you turn your volume up? I'll turn my volume up, actually. Let's be proactive. Okay. Okay. What's going on? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's just that, like, I really, like my Latin teacher.
Your lab teacher?
My Latin teacher.
Latin teacher? Okay, uh-huh.
Like, I mean, it's like, I abnormally like him. I don't like, not like in a weird way, but like, I kind of, he's like really important to me because like everyone, all the adults in my life were basically like, pretty like bad, so to speak.
Yeah, not helpful, yeah.
Yeah, and like I live with my aunt and uncle, and like, well, my Latin teacher is just really like caring,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like really attached to him. But then he's like moving,
Okay.
and I'm just like really scared.
Yeah, and I have a video I did a long time ago about, like, it talks kind of like why, but it sounds like you already know the why, like why you're so attached is because you don't really have another caregiver or adult in your life that is supportive and caring and loving and, like, pays attention, maybe. Are there ways, and I don't know how your school works, are you saying, and also just to clarify, are you feeling attached to him as if, like, he's a parent or, like, romantically?
Like he's a parent almost.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I was going for. I thought that's what you meant, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't confusing it. In all truth, I think something that you can do on your own is, and this sounds, I know it's going to sound weird, but it's like writing down all the reasons that you became attached to him and all the ways he showed you he cared and how good that felt. It may be like even just journaling about it so that you have this to go back to, because I think this is kind of an important relationship and we want to make sure that we spend time like honoring it, and so you don't forget and you don't negate it later, because a lot of my clients will then be like, no, they didn't really care, but they're not there anymore, and so it's like we kind of do this like self-sabotage thing. So writing about it, taking time for that, and it's going to sound cheesy, but taking pictures with him. Like, take a picture, have someone take a picture, and say to him, like, you've been really important to me, and you've been really helpful. You can take a picture, and then also seeing if there's a way to keep in touch. I know some schools are like, nope, you can't do that, but other people, like, you could send an email every 3 or 4 months and just updating him on what's going on, and maybe that will help you feel connected. And I honestly, as a side note, still have clients periodically, like maybe once a year now, but for a while it was a little more frequent. They'd email me little updates, like pictures of them going to prom or pictures of them getting into college or any kind of thing. And so it gave them a way to be like, remember we did all that work together, and that's how come I'm here, and I just want to let you know. And so that was fine with me because emails are easy. I can reply to them at times when I'm not busy, you know, it gives me like time to reply versus like a phone call. So I would see if there's a way to keep in touch, and know that none of that's weird to ask either. Like, don't feel ashamed or bizarre. I have clients ask all the time about that kind of thing, and that'll just help you feel more connected and remind you that there are adults out there who do care, and there are people who really want you to succeed and want the best for you and care about you. I think that's important for you to be reminded and to have a way to remind yourself. Does that sound doable maybe?
And also, actually, I can keep in touch with him because, like, I mean, he knows that I really like him, and like he understands that, and like I actually am gonna do like private tutoring with Skype, so I'm still gonna be able to like see him through Skype and stuff, but like it's just that I won't be able to see him on a daily basis anymore, and like in real life, and that's just kind of sad. And also I'm just kind of wondering if like he's kind of annoyed because I'm kind of like nagging, and like I don't know if that's like annoying to him, but I'm just kind of worried about that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to know unless we ask him directly. But as long as you, in truth, like as long as you're not like taking advantage of the fact that he's available and that you can get in contact with him, and I mean taking advantage like trying to talk to him every day or emailing him every day, unless it's related to something, you know, like work-wise and you have to, I wouldn't think that he would feel like you're taking advantage or being too pushy or too much in general. But you could even ask, you could just say, especially since he already kind of knows, like you said, he already knows, you know, that you care about him and that it's important. Then I think you could say, like, I don't want you to feel like I'm, you know, contacting you too much or wanting too much. What would be reasonable for you? You could ask that. That's not weird. That's just like asking for your boundaries. Like, okay, well, you know, because he might say, you could just email me once a week. That'd be fine. He might be fine with that. Or he could say, like, you know, when something new happens or when this is going on or whatever, you know, then you at least know. Then you kind of have like a structure so you know that you're like working within what's okay for him. Does that sound okay? Yeah. Okay. Let me know how it goes, okay? Let me know if you talk to him. It might take you a few, I know, to get up the courage, but I promise it won't be scary, and he already knows, and it sounds like he's really great and supportive. And I'm glad that you had the opportunity to have him and to meet him. That's wonderful. Okay. Thanks, Jillian. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Oh, bye. Sean is turning on the song. Do you guys hear it?
They requested that you sing quite a bit of it.
Oh, I don't know all the lyrics, you guys. So much pressure. Here we go. I have no idea what the words are. 100. Oh, he's got $100 smoking in his bill full. It's burning the hole. I only know the chorus. Monday morning I'll be at it again, 'cause it's finally Friday weekend. I hit the road running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday. Working blues and let the good times roll, 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 roll. Woo!
Yeah, the hand movement's the best.
It is. Thanks, Beth.
Get up and do a little shimmy in your pajama bottoms. It's Friday.
I don't have enough room.
Yeah, just get up.
Sean's wanting me to dance, but he doesn't realize
I think you should. I think that's good.
It's
Just
finally
gotta go.
Friday again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. Actually, I don't. We don't even have a wild weekend. Hit the broken blues and let the good times roll, 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 roll. Okay, turn it off.
Yeah.
It's done. Sean should be the one dancing. He's
How do I turn it off?
He's way more excited about it than I am. You should have seen him, you guys. He's trying again. Thanks, Icy Spooning. So have a weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and bringing your questions and bringing your tips and bringing everything and all the excitement and the love and the Kenyan hugs. I love it so much. And I will see you guys next week. I'll let you know when I'm going to do the next one. Thanks, Nikki Fitch. Applause to all of you, too. Oh, from Hong Kong. Yay. So anyway, I will see... Oh, it is Canadian Thanksgiving. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. I always forget that it falls around my birthday. And I'm married to a Canadian. But I love you all. I will see you. I have a video coming out this weekend. Are you ready? Surprise, surprise. Make sure you're subscribed and you have your notifications turned on so you know when it goes live and you don't miss it. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye. And it always says end, and then it's like, are you sure? And then I have to say yes.